Hi, Siggy.
Hi, Max.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem, doing great. How are you?
Very good. Did you have a chance to study this week about Shlach, about the spies? Because in
Yes.
this week's Parasha, it's about the spies. And by the way, it's been 20 years that I've been reading Me'am Loez.
Wow.
And I started in the Parasha of Shelach, which is this week, and Korach next week.
I remember that.
So it's 20 years. I started in 2002.
Kol hakavod. Kol
Incredible,
hakavod.
eh?
Imagine how much we grow and how much we learn.
It's
And why
beautiful.
is it that we're still studying it again and again?
And you know what? Every time I read it, every time I go through it with all the commentaries, it's like I'm amazed. It's like,
You pick up new stuff each time, right?
yeah, and I know that I read it last year. I know that I read it the year before. I know that I've been reading it for the last 20 years. Yet
Baruch Hashem.
it's like somehow Hashem goes into your brain,
And gives you more.
and either he expands it or he draws you a blank and you got to start over. But it's not, because when I read it, I said, oh yeah, I remember reading this, but oh wow, I'm getting deeper into it. It's
unbelievable.
incredible,
Baruch Hashem.
eh?
It's so rewarding. All we have to do is come to it, learn it, and for sure you're going to get something out of it.
yeah.
So
Incredible.
what
So,
I love,
yeah, tell me.
what I love about this week's Parsha is there's so many different layers of understanding what these great men, the leaders of the tribes, going into the land of Israel, the land that Hashem promised our forefathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And of course, that if God promised this land to Bnei Israel, it means that He knows that it's good for us. And so at one level, we're thinking, what's wrong with these men? They don't have emunah? They don't
Right,
believe?
they were leaders. They were the leaders. They
were
were the
smart.
tribal leaders.
Absolutely.
They were actually chosen by Hashem. Not even Moses. It was Hashem
Oh,
that
that's
chose
great.
them.
That's right.
So they were the leaders. They were the big chachams, and so they went in as spies.
Right. So the question then
Yeah.
is how could they have come back and said anything negative like lashon hara on the land that God decided was the best thing for Am Yisrael?
So I have an answer, but I want you to give yours.
No, I want to hear your answer because I know that you know it. And it's very beautiful because we have to see their perspective as well. Instead of criticizing them or thinking that, they made a big mistake, we have to understand their intentions. That's something we learned last week from Rabbi Avigdor Miller, that our innermost feelings and intentions matter in what we do. And that Hashem takes that into consideration, and it's part of the way that He considers us, rewards us, or teaches us another lesson.
Right. So we have to remember that these 12 spies, and it was 10 out of the 12 that were really the ones that came back with bad reports about the land of Israel, right? They were saying, there's giants there, they're going to trample over us, they're going to...
Yeah, we are grasshoppers compared to them.
And there's commentaries that say that really they were enjoying themselves in the desert. They saw that they had everything. Hashem was providing
That's right. No worries.
all their necessities.
That's right.
For the last 2 years. Hashem was providing since they left Egypt, right? You got to understand the timeline,
Yes, the
right?
time frame. It's very important.
So they were enjoying
the spiritual part of it because they didn't have to deal with any of the physical needs because Hashem took care of all of that with Ananei HaKavod, the clouds that protected them, the fact that they didn't have to do laundry. Imagine if we didn't have to do laundry. So amazing just thinking about that. Plus the manna that fell from the heaven. You didn't even have to be a farmer and do agriculture and work the land and toil. They had only time to study Torah and to have beautiful family, exchanges and relations.
So maybe you're saying that is the intention when they came back. They said, we don't want to lose what we have.
Yes, we do not want to delve into the physical world of the hardship that's going to take us away from the study of Torah.
So the Orach Chaim, I was reading this week, says something very interesting, that the sin
Right.
of the 10 of the 12
Leaders.
leaders, because remember, the two of them, the two
Yes.
spies, was Caleb
And Yoshua. That's right. And they were blessed
And
by Moshe.
Yoshua was the direct student
Absolutely,
of Moshe Rabbeinu. So he was
right.
loyal completely. Actually, they were all loyal.
But he had, don't forget
Yeah.
that Moshe Rabbeinu blessed the two of them.
That's right.
Gave them an extra koach and perspective to see everything right and to come out of it proper.
That's right.
So they were strengthened. Actually, my father told me something incredible today, that when the other 10 leaders saw how Caleb and Yoshua experienced the land, they went to Ma'arat HaMachpelah to try to get a blessing from the Avot.
To the cave.
Yes,
Where
to the
the-
cave
where
where
our
the
forefathers
forefathers are
were
buried.
buried,
To
yeah.
get a blessing so that they can have the right hashkafa, the right perception of what is the land going to offer the people. Is that powerful?
That's incredible.
It's
Wow.
incredible. So you were saying?
So what I'm saying is that Orach Chaim says that the sin, and I think this is a lesson that we have to learn, okay? Because when you go into something with a negative,
Attitude, yes.
feeling or attitude, you're coming
Prejudgment.
back with that negativity.
Right.
Meaning, if you leave home, if you leave your house with a negative feeling,
That's
well,
what you're
guess
gonna bring
what? You're
back.
coming back home negative.
And also, you focus to
So-
look at the negativity, and that's what you're going to find.
That's
Whatever
right.
we focus on,
so
that's what
the
we're going to find.
spies, what did the spies do? The spies, they tricked Moses.
Oh.
They tricked Moses because the first time that they came, they said, we have to see the land, we have to go take a look at the land. And Moses says, absolutely not. And then Hashem, when they came back a second time, Hashem says, take spies for yourself and go take a look at the land. Go ahead. Now, there's nothing wrong, the Orach Chaim says. There's nothing wrong with
Scouting out
spying
the land.
land. You're
Yes, and the
going in to
people.
conquer it. So
Right, it's like war. It's a good strategy.
no problem. And there's two ways of doing it. One way is going in, the Orach Chaim says, one way is going in and to scout out the roads, the paths, what it takes to. The second is scouting out what treasures do they have, and they knew
that's
that the
interesting.
Canaanites hid all the treasures in the walls, underground. They hid it all.
I didn't know.
So
I didn't know that.
they went to Moses and tricked him and said, we're going to go scout out the land,
Got it.
and we're going to try to look for all the treasures. But they didn't do that.
They didn't, right?
They didn't do it. And they came back with Lashon Hara. They came back with gossip of the land.
Yes, negativity on the land of Israel. Imagine that.
And by the way, Hashem wanted to destroy all of Bnei Israel. He wanted to destroy all 600,000 men between the ages of 20 and 60. He wanted to completely destroy Bnei Israel. And Moses fought on our behalf. He says, no,
that's right.
absolutely not. We cannot do. And Hashem says, I'll start a new nation out of you. Moses says, what will the Egyptians think? We just took them out 2 years ago. What will they think? What will they think of you, Hashem? That would have been a chilul Hashem. It would have been. It would have been
like a failure, a complete failure
of God.
Right.
Like, look what he
Chas
did. He
v'shalom,
took them out
chas
just to
v'shalom.
die in the desert.
Chas v'shalom.
So Moses says, listen, okay, they're a slave mentality. They're scared.
We have to teach them.
Let's, in one sense, and this is, I'm just saying it, let's, get rid of them
Like only that.
over the next 38 years. And that's why we had 15 on Tisha B'Av, that's coming up soon. We had 15,000 Bnei Israel people die every year on Tisha B'Av until on the 40th year, or 38 years later, on the 40th year, when 15,000 went into the graves just to go in and sleep for the night, they woke up, and it was over. That means they were able to get into the land. But Hashem This week's parasha is the reason why
Yes.
we ended up staying in the desert for 38 more years, because Hashem says we cannot have people going in to
With
Eretz
this
Yisrael with
wrong
a slave
mentality.
mentality.
That's right. And not enough emunah and bitachon.
That's
that
right.
Hashem knew what was
Only
best
the
for us.
next generation will be able to go
Build
in,
the land,
and
yes.
with richness of mind, they will be able to they conquer and take care of that land.
So powerful, so
Incredible,
powerful.
eh?
So the statement was, you cry now and forevermore you will
That's
cry
right.
on this day.
Yeah.
And that's where we learn that was Tisha B'Av.
That's right.
So let's have good eyes and
That's
good
right.
intentions for the land of
It's-
Israel,
that's
for
right.
the people of Israel,
That's
for
right.
Am Yisrael, and only see good and trust in Hashem.
That's right.
Have emunah and bitachon that Hashem knows what's best,
Yeah,
and He's directing us
that's right.
in the right way for sure.
Right. And when we start something, whether it be in business, a relationship, anything, when you
Job,
start something,
sure,
start
project.
with a good intention, a good mind,
That's right.
so that
You'll have good results.
exactly.
Absolutely. I love it.
All right.
Thank
Shabbat
you so
Shalom.
much. Shabbat Shalom.